As always, though, we like to start the week, the Wednesday show, with some questions. So without further ado, time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
That's
moment
right.
has arrived
Oh,
to
baby.
hear from the man himself, Ariel Helwani.
That's me.
Live from the Box Studios in beautiful New York City.
Moderator
it's
Lewis.
On the nose. And now, to answer your questions,
Was actually very mad at me.
Get out of your seats and on your feet because
He said I got to the...
Ariel Helwani.
I sent out the questions too late. It was not good, and I apologize. I said mea culpa. It was a very busy Tuesday for me. I was all over the gaff, as they say in Ireland, so that's my bad. But always the professional comes through with the questions, and we appreciate that very much. Of course, that guy who said that he was going to be first for 2 months after the Jets beat the Bills is not first. By the way, I have not looked at the questions. I never look at the questions because I want to be, fresh, and I want to give you my honest initial response. But what are we setting the line at in terms of Patty questions? What do you think the line is, GC? Patty related questions.
21 questions. I'm going to say over under 4.5.
Over under 4.5. What do you say, Frank?
I don't think there's going to be any Patty questions.
Wow, you mean you're on fire today? What about B Schaub questions?
That's
maybe one.
Yeah, over under 1.5.
Really? Okay. I thought maybe more. Of course.
You can ask Rick as well.
Oh, Rick is here?
I am here.
Oh, hey. What's the line?
I'm taking the over on the Patty questions and the under on the Schaub questions.
Really? Wow. All right. Maybe you've seen the questions.
The lines that GC said. I'm taking the over.
The 4.5 and the 1.5?
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go, guys. Cheeto Pancakes is up first. What a great...
Does that count, by the way?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what the question is. What is up, Ariel? First of all, congrats on successfully defending your title for the 13th year in a row. Thank you. And by the way, they said to me when I was at the awards, they said, why don't you ever put your trophies in the studio? And I said, you know what? You're right. I kind of just like having them all at home. I gave one to my parents a few years ago, but maybe I will put one in the studio. What do you guys think? Do you think it would look nice? Do you
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's put all 13.
I need to recreate that picture that Demetrius Johnson took many moons ago, right?
Sorry, Mom and Dad. Going to need that one back.
Yeah. Secondly, when's the last time we saw a card go from great to absolute stinker like this past Saturday? Oh, man. I don't know. When's the last time we saw a card go from great? I don't know. Any come to mind? I don't even know who headlined the card 2 weeks ago at this point. Well, what were the other draws? I don't know. It's a weird first question. I feel like we're stumbling out of the gate here.
I have noticed that you guys get real excited about a card and then not so excited.
Is there a main event that like totally shut
the last one I can remember where it was like a main event just got like nixed and they didn't really replace it was 256, or they replaced it, but it was 256 where it was like supposed to be, what was it? Supposed to be Usman, and then they put Figueiredo and Moreno on it. But I think everybody was kind of down on that one a little bit.
Fair, but I think what they're asking here is a card that was like banger after banger after banger, and then it ended with a couple duds.
Sorry. I was thinking pre. We're talking about it lost all the momentum at the end. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's harder.
A couple of those. What about Aspinall this past? No fault of his own, but it kind of, it ended like that, right? When he got hurt against Curtis Blades. Same. That back-to-back stretch this past summer, right? Of Aspinall getting hurt and then the Ortega fight. We refer to that as the TST curse around these parts because he attended both events in person. So it happens all the time. But look, if you ask me, you get a card like that with 13 fights on it, 14 fights, and 12 of them are great. So what? And can I just say something once again? I didn't think that the main event was bad. And can I also say something? Once again, I didn't think the co-main was specifically bad. I just thought it was shitty judging. I thought the wrong guy won. But I think it was actually a bad fight. I was locked in. And I think most people were locked in. And, it was riveting to see if Gordon could get it done. And I didn't think that it took me like a minute to get into the main event because I was still like, wow, I can't believe they screwed Gordon like that. But I didn't think that, like, I think the results were a little bit underwhelming, but I don't really think that the main event was bad by any stretch, and I didn't think the co-main one was bad. It was just the judging that sucked. So I don't necessarily agree. The Pied Piper of Newark. I am here by the grace of His Majesty Lord Ariel. My question is with regards to the MMA Awards, where you won the Best Journalist Award for the 100th straight year. 100th straight year. Congrats. Were there any other positive or negative interactions with members of the fight game that you no longer see on a daily basis? And Lewis tells me that this is the bold Jets fan from last week predicting the Bills' downfall. Yes. And I said, you can still stick around, so no problem there. It was lovely to see some faces that I hadn't seen in quite some time. Names that come to mind. Danny Rubenstein, who's been in the fight game before he was even a manager for the likes of Petr Yan and Dricus du Plessis. Good to see him. It was good to see Tai Tuivasa, who I had not seen in person for quite some time. It was good to see Brendan Loughnane, who I, of course, did see in person a couple of times in studio, but it was great to see him. He was there. To corner Darren Till. Who else? Saw Laura Sanko. Saw Chandler from afar. Saw Izzy from afar. Saw Hooker from afar, but didn't actually speak to them because it was during the show, and then everything kind of fizzled out. Saw Kirik Janess, who founded the UG and got the Lifetime Achievement Award. That was great. Saw fellow journalists, and that's always great. Shaheen Al-Shadi of MMA Fighting. Love seeing SAS. Saw Aaron Bronstetter. Saw Mike Bond. Saw Jose Youngs. Spoke to them for a bit, so that was really nice. Saw Chael P. Probably the highlight, I would have to say, is Chael P., if only because I had not seen Chael P. and his lovely, lovely wife, Miss Brittany, as he refers to her, had not seen Chael P. since March 11th, 2020, in person. This was the first time that I saw Chael P. Sonnen in person since March 11, 2020. That, of course, a very notable date. That's when everything shut down, pandemic. And he was in studio with me. We did Ariel and the Bad Guy at the South Street Seaport, a few blocks from here. And then we did my podcast, and we were in a tiny room. And I remember him telling me that he would drink COVID if it was in a cup right next to him. He was very unfazed by it all. And he was in town because there was a Bellator event that Friday, which eventually got canceled, I think the day of the event. So that was great. And I got to go with my longtime friend, John Beer, who went to the first ever awards with me that I was nominated for back in 2010. And I forgot to give him a shout out. And he claims that I promised him that I'd give him a shout out. I don't remember doing that. In any event, I got you want to know something funny? This is so long ago. I got the award. I went up, come back, sit down, and he was like, happy, but I could tell something was bothering him, and he only told me later that he was expecting a shout out, which I thought was a little bit weird. But anyway, we're still the best of friends. And he came with me this time. He lives in LA, and this time I made sure to give him a proper shout out, so that was nice. We were sitting next to Bruce Buffer at that award show, and he was very kind because Bruce was on my show when I was at Syracuse as a student. I sent him an email to his website. I think it was brucebuffer.tv. And that was 2001 that he was on my show at Syracuse. And he said to me he was very proud of me, and that was really, really nice. After that event, the award show, back in 2010, the first time I won, my friend John Beer and I were eating dinner, and we're sitting, at a table, and Dana White came up. This is how long ago this was. Dana White came up from behind and kissed me on my head and said, quote, "You blew up quick, kid," and then walked off. How about that? What do you think of that story, Frank?
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet. So that's how long ago it was. Persian. I always have a problem with this word.
Apothecary.
What is an apothecary?
All right.
Did we go through this already?
We did. It's kind of like a pharmacy, but think herbs.
That's why he's got the pill next to his name. Dear Ariel, I got really fired up last week when you showed your receipts on the Patty and Dana comments. That was a solid 10-7. With the softball questions most of the UFC press throw at Dana, is there any real danger to having press that never really give hard questions and instead are just trying to stay on the president's good side with softballs? As a reporter, what do they say about this long line of questioning? Curious for your thoughts. Much love. I mean, is it dangerous? No, I don't think it's dangerous. I mean, there's a lot of high-ranking, important people, not only in sports, but in all sort of public walks of life, who aren't quote unquote challenged, who aren't faced with the tough questions. And it's fine. The people, one of the great things about media in 2022, the times we're living in now, is like there's a lot of places where you can get the truth. There's a lot of places where you can get what you're looking for. And maybe you're not getting it in the form of a one-on-one interview, but you could certainly get that insight from a whole host of people, right? I spoke about the late Grant Wall on Monday. He was a guy who did not shy away from telling you about what was really going on with FIFA, what was really going on with, American soccer, what was really going on with the global game. And maybe he wasn't giving it to us in the form of a one-on-one interview, but he was doing it through reporting, conversations, journalism, contacts, all that stuff, sources. So look, Dana has often had a very contentious relationship with the media because he feels like he owns all of this, and we should be lucky. We should feel lucky that he is letting us, take part in all of this, because he feels like he's almost like the owner, if you will, the curator of the sport. And so if you do somewhat challenge him, he feels like that is, a breach of trust. That is insulting. And so he'll either like puff his chest out or he'll bark back. You see it at the press conference sometimes when he's hit with an uncomfortable question or two, he starts to get really, really agitated. So he has created a world for himself where he is surrounded by people, for the most part, who aren't going to do that. And that's fine. He's allowed to do that. He's allowed to pick and choose who he talks to. I would say that I think by now the audience knows what's up, and I think they understand, who's going to bring up some of the uncomfortable stuff, or even, it's not so much gotcha this or gotcha that, or even to catch him in a tough spot or a lie or whatever. It's just to ask, do you want to ask about pertinent, important questions because you got 20 minutes with the president, or do you want to talk about candy? Which one is it? Do you want to ask him about his year and what his goals are for, 2023 and his New Year's resolutions, and about losing weight, or do we want to talk about serious things? And so where you can get that stuff, and where you can get the other stuff. I don't think it's dangerous. As long as there are people covering sports, entities, people the right way, it's all good. King Tyler, warmest greetings to my favorite content creator. Thank you so much. My 24th birthday was Friday, but my celebration was overshadowed by the mishugas surrounding 282. Mishugas is like craziness in Yiddish. 10-7 Helwani says. My perception is that the UFC is trying to inorganically create stars for the impending post-Conor era. Are we in that era already? I mean, when was Conor's last fight? Summer of 2021. So maybe not. Before social media, UFC stars made themselves with electric performances or cutting promos to make it onto YouTube compilations. Sure. The UFC is now inverting this formula, building fighters' online fame and backing them into success. How do you think putting unproven fighters over, largely based on personality versus verifiable fightability, will affect the UFC in the long run as it tries to build its next generation of pay-per-view stars? I understand cultivating hype between fights, but continuous exposure without earning it creates artificially inflated expectations for fighters who may not be ready for it. Thank you to the whole crew for always bringing some levity to my lonely cubicle. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the kind words. I don't know if I necessarily agree. This isn't a new thing. Basically, what you're saying is they're pushing guys who may not be ready for the spotlight. First of all, as York Ric noted on Monday, if you're referring to Patty, he's not young. How old is Patty Pimblett? Let me just double check here for once.
28.
You did it?
Connor told me.
All right. Thank you, Connor. Why didn't you tell me?
I don't know.
Weird.
I'm confirming it myself.
Oh,
he wanted me to just...
27. He's turning 28 on January 3rd.
That's why we confirmed. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
Why did you say it out loud?
28? Frank just runs with it.
No, I appreciate that. Listen, close enough. The point is, do you remember Sage Northcutt? Do you remember Paige Van Zandt? There have been people that have been pushed that may not have been ready for the spotlight in the past, and many others prior to them as well. That's what they're going to do. But ultimately, you should know this. The number one star, the number one entity, what they want is ultimately for the brand, as I've said before, those three letters, to be the draw. This is every promoter's dream, by the way. This is WWE's dream, and they've successfully reached that point. This is Matchroom Boxing's dream. This is Top Rank's dream. This is Bellator's dream. Because guess what? That's the one thing that's never going away. That's the one thing that you'll never have to negotiate against. That's the one thing that you don't have to worry about leaving, getting injured, losing. So you want people to be like, yo, UFC's coming to Long Island. I'm in. Who's fighting? All right, it's not bad. But I'm still in because it's the UFC. That's huge. That's the dream. And so everyone else is interchangeable. That's the point. That's the secret to their success. That is the mark of how successful they are. And that is something that no boxing promoter has. So all credit to them. Matchroom comes to town. It's not, oh, Matchroom's coming to town. It's, oh, who's fighting? Oh, it's, Devin Haney. Great. I'll when he was with Matchroom, I'll watch that fight. Oh, Top Rank's coming to town. Who's fighting? Oh, Teofimo Lopez. Okay, now it's not Top Rank's doing a card. I'm in. Because they have a history of just, tremendous production, tremendous cards, top to bottom. You know the people. They may not be A-list stars, but you know them. UFC comes to Orlando, you're in regardless. UFC comes to, Brisbane, you're in. It's only in Vegas where they have the true trouble at times of like having to sell because they come there quite often. So this is not new. None of this is new. And by the way, Patty had success. He was a champion in another organization. And they're not really pushing him that much. He hasn't fought in a main event. He hasn't fought top-tier talent. He's getting attention for himself because of his fan base, because of his own marketing ability. But I would say nothing that they've done with him has been egregious. It's been a slow push. It hasn't been a fast push. They have fast-pushed people in the past. This isn't a fast push. So understand where you're coming from. Don't actually agree with where you're coming from. And they're in a very good spot to where the brand has become the biggest star. So if Francis Ngannou doesn't resign, which I suspect he will, if John Jones never fights again, which I think he will, if Conor McGregor never fights again, which I think he will, but if those guys, if the biggest stars, if Nate Diaz never comes back, they'll be fine. It's only going to take years and years and years of screw-ups and missteps for them to hurt in that regard. Pay-per-view's doing great. TV deal is doing great. They're hoping to re-sign with ESPN. International TV deals are doing great. Sponsor, it's all great because of the brand. It's not tied to a fight. It's not tied to a fighter. They're in a great spot. Alex Weber. What happened to Eagle FC? The website doesn't show any upcoming U.S. shows. The last one was May 20th. Where does Kevin Lee fit into all of this? Yeah, I mean, Kevin got hurt, you'll recall, but, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Remember when I told you guys, okay, they're coming to America. They've got these shows. They're not asking people to pay for them. They've got no sponsors attached to them. Where's the money coming from? Very ambitious, and I was curious to see what they would do. But, I know they did a show recently overseas, I believe in Russia. Feels like that's where the brand is relevant, not in some, warehouse in Miami. I had my thoughts on what Eagle FC was, but those are just thoughts. I'll keep those to myself. But yeah, not surprised that it fizzled. Not sure if it's coming back. In America, it's still a thing overseas. I will always be in favor of a place that pays fighters, appropriately, maybe even overpays, gives fighters a chance to have another place to, continue their careers. Gives them an option, gives them a negotiation spot, like somewhere that they can leverage, all that stuff. I will always be in favor of that. But this particular one, I mean, considering some of the characters involved, you know what I'm talking about, I always found to be a little, as they say, dicey. Now, Kevin Lee will be curious to see when he comes back. He did injure his knee, and it's been a rough stretch for him. And I sincerely hope, anybody back there into this Bitcoin stuff? I've often said I don't understand it, but it's probably not a great time to be involved in Bitcoin, right?
I think that's right.
Mm-hmm. Cosmo Kramer. Ariel, just a little catnip for the Changs community. Bappa, who definitely didn't pay the Scouser for Truck Walk Diaries interview, or is it Trug Walk, is starting up again. Just making sure you're still the CEO, CFO, COO. He's apparently in your head. Thoughts?
I knew it.
All right. I was holding on to the string and I was waiting for it. And I'm not. I want to warn you. This isn't going to be your typical 10-7. Okay, this isn't going to be your typical 10-7 because I don't have that fire in me pertaining to this topic. But I did see a clip where my old friend Brendan was talking about the whole Patty situation. And I will be honest with you as well, did not even watch the whole thing because there was a part of me that was like, what's going on here? What is happening? Why does this guy look so sad right now? What is this a normal thing or is he just having a bad day? And it was kind of like hurting me. It was hurting my heart to watch it. So hope he's okay, sincerely. Brendan loves to do this thing where he talks about something and he makes it out like he hasn't done anything wrong, but then he'll throw like a little jab. He'll make a little remark. He'll hit you with a pot shot. So like he'll talk about this, and I saw he said like, oh, first of all, he's explaining to us what Cage Warriors is. Like he just found out about it, or like we don't know about it. Anyone who covers the sport for a living and talks about it on a weekly basis should know what Cage Warriors is. Like, you don't need to explain that to us. Number one, you shouldn't have to explain to us who Graham Boylan is. Number two, but then he says like, oh, these guys said that, Ariel's a piece of shit and all that stuff. So you don't have to say that. You could say, oh, I had an interaction with Patty and they mentioned it and blah, 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 blah. But he'll throw these little things and say like, oh, no, they said it, but you're still saying it on your platform. You're still putting it out there. And you'll hear him say like, hey, Ariel still talks about me, and you don't hear me talk about him. And, that's an indication of, I'm in his head, right? That type of thing he was saying. And here's the thing that I still don't think he understands. And I still don't think a lot of people understand as it pertains to me. As I've said time and again, I will forgive. I will forgive, but I don't forget. And I don't forget, especially when it comes to people who either questioned or tried to harm my integrity, my standing, my ethics, stuff that matters to me, who I am as a person. Again, as I've said ad nauseum, you want to talk about me as a host, as a journalist, as a question asker, all that shit, I don't give a crap. I don't care if you don't like me. It truly doesn't bother me because I know different strokes, different folks. There's people I don't like. There's people this guy likes, I don't like. I like, this guy doesn't like. That's fine. You're not going to be loved by everyone. No one is loved by everyone. But when you start to attack my integrity and my ethics and who I am as a person and my reputation, and you try to lie about that reputation, that's when I get pissed off. And that's when I never, ever, ever, ever forget. So to Brandon and to everyone else, I will never, ever forget. I will never forget. I will forgive. I will move on. Like I said, if he wants to call me up, even if he wanted to come on the show, I would be open to it. But I will never forget. And for him to do this song and dance, like, oh, Ariel still talks about me and I don't. Bro, you talked about me for 5 years. You lied about me for 5 years. I still got 5 fucking more years of material on you. And I'd be happy to talk about you in any kind of light for 5 more years. I still owe you. I still got back receipts. I still owe you for all the shit about 199 and Showtime and all the other shit that I talked about. I still owe you. So you're going to sit there with your puppy dog face and be like, oh, he still talks about me. Yeah, you're lucky I don't talk about you more. You're lucky I don't make more comments about you. You're lucky I don't open up that closet. All right? So like I said, best to just leave my name out of your mouth. You want to talk about something because I'm in the news, I'm pertinent, the Patty thing is up, fine. But I see the little pot shots. I see what you do. I see all the little things that you say. I see it. And you try to compare, you try to go 1 for 1. No. The scoreboard is still 100 pot shots to 10. All right? I still got 5 more years before you could cry foul. So don't start with that shit. Do not start with that shit. And people are like, oh, he called you the best. Oh, now I'm the best. A year ago, I wasn't the best. A year and a half ago, I was horrible to work with. I don't buy any of it. I see right through it. It's all bullshit. And it's like I said about Patty. It's like I said about Graham. It's like I said about Ali and Dana and everyone in between. They want to come on and bury the hatchet. I believe we have one life and it's all good and we're going to die tomorrow and all this shit is stupid. I don't believe in cutting people off, so to speak. I'm very forgiving, but I will never forget. I will never, ever forget. So I will never forget being in quarantine in Montreal, trying to take some time off and looking at a clip of this guy lying about me and saying that I'm a horrible person to work with, that I treat my colleagues badly, that 1,000 people told him. I will never forget that. I'll never forget how that made me feel. And I had no fucking microphone to speak into at that point. I had no platform. I had nothing. Well, I guess I had my Twitter and Instagram and that would have been fine, but you get the point. I had nowhere to go to defend myself. So I won't forget that. And if that bothers you, if it bothers you that I make a joke here, a Bappa reference there, a Dicey reference there, a Chang's reference here, a What Are We Done Here there, if it bothers you that I'll say to Alex Pereira, don't listen to Brendan Schaub, tough noogie. I'm sorry. I'll mention you as much as I want. I'd suggest you stop mentioning me, or at the very least, just stop taking pot shots. If you want to talk about my show, news broken here, this and that, great. But you sit there and you take these pot shots and I see it and I'm not dumb and I realize it. And so you want to side with these guys and you want to make it seem like, oh, you know, when they came to me, they didn't ask for money. Well, maybe they didn't ask for money because they realized how stupid they sounded when I fucking said no to them back in November of 2021 because you spoke to them afterwards. Maybe they realized no one was willing to pay. Maybe they realized that they were out of their freaking minds for ever bringing this up. Maybe because last I checked, they weren't asking people to pay. Or you know what? There's a very, I wish I could say it, but I can't. There's a very, 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 very popular podcast out there that I listen to all the time that I've referenced on this show. And they saw the stuff that I was saying. And it's a non-MMA show, guys. And they told me that the same was said to them. So maybe they're not smart enough to realize that they were stupid in saying that they were not out of line. Because I couldn't believe that they wouldn't go on this show that wanted to speak to them out of the MMA world, out of the MMA bubble, because they were saying the same stuff. We want to get paid. Golly, you talk about being short-sighted. All these guys, jokes. So I saw that clip. I chuckled. I laughed. I felt a little bit weird about it because it looked like he was having a bad day or something like that. And then I was like, this guy still doesn't understand why I was mad. This guy still doesn't understand what he did wrong. He still doesn't understand why it was a bullshit move to make up lies about me, my work ethic, my integrity, my ethics, all that stuff. Yo, I've been here way too long and I've been fighting, doing this job way too long, and I invested way too freaking much time, energy, effort, put all my eggs in this basket. I am not going to let this dolt, that dolt, that dolt, the other dolt, I'm not going to let any of these guys ruin what I built. Like I said when I got the award, if I disappear, it's going to be my fault. It's going to be because I fucked up. I'm not letting these guys write my story. I'm not letting these guys cancel me, get rid of me, make me disappear. I'm not letting them do it. It will be my fault. If I disappear, if I go away, if I crumble, it will be my fault. It will be because I screwed up. I could live with that. These dudes aren't going to end me. They're not going to put my career down. They're not going to put a bullet in my head like Dana said back in 2016. They're not going to do that. As far as the career is concerned, they're not going to do that. I will never allow that. And so when I see Patty talking like that, calling me those names and making up lies about me and saying that I told him to take an interview with me over another interview, no, it's not going to happen. I will defend myself because no one else is going to defend me. No one else is going to have my back. No one else is going to come to my defense except for me. And there was a time where I wasn't allowed to have my back. There was a time where I wasn't allowed to defend myself. Now I can. Now there's no one telling me to take the high road. Like I said, high road Helwani is dead. So don't mean to belabor the point, but every single time one of these dudes, I don't care if it's the other two schmoes who do their podcast and think they're so important. I don't care if it's, Schaub and his little buddies. I don't care if it's fucking Patty and Dana and Ali and all of them in between. Just don't talk about me. Don't lie and we'll be all good. And if you do lie, I'll keep coming. And I'll keep responding. I'll keep defending myself because you guys aren't going to be the ones because I know how it works. You lie about someone, it becomes reality, it becomes the truth. People gravitate towards that. They believe in it. I see how it happens. I see with my own two eyes. I'm not going to let you do that. And so, come with the king, best not miss. Wow, this is a long question. BJJ White Belt. Assalamu alaikum, Ariel. This is Nasibulo, a student in Germany. I'm from Uzbekistan. As the MMA Hour team, and you know, being a student is not always the best time, has some challenges through the journey. When you came back to the MMA Hour last year, you read the very first email from York Ric regarding the internship. To be honest, that hit me in a way that I'll never forget, because I was also, by the way, isn't this around the time that you sent it?
Yeah, it was some time around now.
It had to be between like December 10th and like December 19th or something, right?
It was definitely in that Christmas window, somewhere around there.
But it was around Tough 10, because I think you referenced Brimage and Rampage, right?
Oh yeah, one of the all-timers.
At that very moment, I understood that every single person, even the likes of York Ric and you, had to deal with it in your own journeys. It made me realize that I was not alone in this. It inspired me, and I would always listen to you guys while submitting hundreds of applications. The MMA Hour gave me energy to do it. Even during the interviews, I remembered Connor's job interview for the MMA Hour. What, he was on the line for that? Shit. And you said Connor was the only one that would fit into the team. I did say that. That helped me too in terms of engaging in a conversation during the interviews. Finally, last week I received multiple internship offers from the top companies in Germany, and I had the chance to choose the best one. That's why I want to thank all the members of the team and ask you to keep doing what you guys are doing. Wow, that was so nice. All the best. Sincerely, Nasibulo. I'm very happy for you, my friend. I hope it's a great internship, and I hope it's the beginning of an incredible journey. Lewis writes, I thought this would serve as a great nod to today. December 14th is the anniversary of the York Ric email, Wheezy but Geeky. I don't know what that part means. Could you believe it?
That was my old, no, get off your computer. That was my old Twitter handle. I had tweeted you before we even started working together.
It was Wheezy but Geeky?
What a pull by Lewis. That was from Donald Glover, Childish Gambino. That was from one of his like mixtapes before he even became a thing that I was listening to. So, by the way,
what a pull by Lewis. Why did you choose York Ric? I mean,
it happened during the show.
What?
It happened.
No,
like, I don't think I had it at the beginning of the show. No, I wasn't. Or maybe I did it like right before we went live for the first show. But just because it was like, it sounded similar enough to New York Knicks, I was like, all right, cool. I'm Rick. Everybody called me Rick.
Was it a Knicks. I didn't realize it was a New York Knicks. It
was a nod to the similar sound. Yeah.
Wow. And no one called you that? Like that wasn't a high school nickname?
Nobody called me New York Rick. Everybody called me Rick. Like all my friends called me Rick.
Oh, they did? Not Eric?
Yeah. No, not my anybody who's in my like inner circle, close friends called me Rick.
That's interesting because I've never heard of another Eric being referred to as Rick.
Yeah, well, isn't Rick, or maybe is Rick a shortening for Richard, or I know Dick is as well, but yeah, I don't know. But everybody called me Rick. Yeah.
Perfect. We killed enough time for me to find the email. Thank you for
No.
Well played.
Isn't that amazing? You see I was asking those questions, Frank?
Yeah.
By the way, isn't that amazing?
No.
December 14th at 4:54 p.m. Can we make like a bell ring thing? I mean, we have to be on air. Although
wait, 4:54 p.m.?
Yeah, December 14th, 2011. 11 years ago today.
So where was that card?
By the way, why does 4:54 p.m. surprise you?
Because I thought I emailed you.
No, it was on a Wednesday. Wednesday, December 14th. This was a few days after.
I waited, I guess. Yeah, you know what? I think if I recall, and I don't know if I've revealed this part of it.
Oh.
I think I tried to hunt for the email for a bit. Like I wanted to be 100% sure, and then finally had found the email that, because remember, it didn't go to your more common email. It went to the
Jerry Park.
It went to the one that referred. So I think I spent a few extra days like after because I wrote this during watching the interview with Rampage and Brimage. I wrote this, and I might have like taken that extra time to try and find the email.
Frank, you know this email
address.
I know the email.
You remember me reading it last year?
Yes, and I'm anticipating.
Do we have to?
Connor, you know this email?
Yeah, this is like a holiday tradition.
This is a holiday tradition. I feel like we need some music. Andy doesn't know the email. So we have to read it for her.
Has a look on her face.
Yeah, she has no idea. So
I'm very excited to hear this.
See,
All right.
this is for
Enjoy, Andy.
The title is I'm a New York native. Oh, there he is. Looking for an internship. Help me, Ariel, which I thought was really impressive that he put my name in the title, but also I thought was impressive. Punctuation in a email subject is very rare these days. Like it's a sentence. It's a full-on 2 sentences in this subject.
I've been criticized, even I think by this group, for my punctuation and text messages as well. I'm nothing if not consistent. Punctuation, key.
Mr. Helwani, I am not sure if this is the right avenue to contact you, but I couldn't find another email address, and I don't have a premium account on LinkedIn. Good thing you didn't go that route. I never would have heard from you. So I'm giving this a shot. I'm a 24-year-old New Yorker who is currently interning at Gawker Media, and that stint is coming to an end. I have nothing lined up for the immediate future. So I'm taking the advice I've seen you give in multiple interviews and going for something I want. I feel like we need some music here, Frank. As an avid MMA fan, I follow the sport daily, including your Twitter, videos, and NBC/AOL articles. No music, nothing? You got nothing, Frank? I mean, you got music up the wazoo for the ads. You can't give me something here? I believe you are the premier journalist in the sport, as evidenced by the awards. Wow. At that point, I think I was only 2 deep. Enough ass kissing, though. And you just happened to run the MMA Hour from my hometown. At that point, MMA Hour only 2 years old. I want to be a part of it. Any part of it. I'm willing to work unpaid. I've already graduated with a degree in marketing from Baruch, so I don't need college credit either. To simply be involved. What a horrible song choice, Frank. And there's 1 sentence left. You blew it. If you need any more information or a reference from my previous employer at Gawker Media, I'd be more than happy to provide that. I appreciate the time and I hope to hear from you. So you sent that. I replied, I sent it to Chad Mom 19 minutes later.
Legend Chad Mom.
Sent it to Brian Tucker 19 minutes later.
Legend Brian Tucker.
Sent it, by the way, to the 2 people that I was working for at Versus, which just shows what kind of a mensch I am. Also, a minute after those, so I was all over the place. Then reply to you a minute later. I remember where I was. I was sitting in front of my computer, apartment in Williamsburg. Hey, Eric, nice to meet you. I just sent your email to my employers. Unfortunately, I don't do the hiring, but you seem like a great get for anyone. I will let you know what I hear back. Good luck and keep in touch. P.S. Thanks for the kind words. Brian writes back. I write back to him. Brian writes back. And then 30 minutes later, Eric responds, Ariel, I'm geeking out like Marcus Brimage meeting Rampage right now. I wasn't expecting any response. No commentary on you. I just know you're a busy man and probably get tons of random emails every day, let alone one this immediate. I mean, this is like one of the fastest replies ever. Words can't express how appreciative I am that you even took the time out of your day to make a single fan feel like anything is possible. He sounds like Kevin Garnett here. Even if nothing comes of this, I understand that is not entirely your call and ultimately a bureaucratic process. You'll always have a fan right here. I can't thank you enough, Eric Jackman. Then I went back. Then I got some replies. And then, the Vox guys jumped on it. The Versus guys didn't.
And the ball started rolling from there.
And away we went.
I think I met with...
By the way, have I ever read the follow-up email thread?
Yes.
January 1st?
We've done this so many times. But yes.
On January 1st
at 5 January?
Yeah. Ariel, I'd like to start out by expressing the utmost gratitude again for taking the time to read my initial email. That act alone meant a lot to me and exceeded my expectations. Due to your email on my behalf, I was able to get a meeting with Chad Mum 2 weeks ago. At that point, he offered me a position in some capacity, helping out with the MMA Hour. Wow, we moved fast. By the way, you got a job on January 1st? Like, that's incredible.
Well, yeah, because I must have interviewed like right around Christmas, like I was saying earlier. Yeah. Shout out to Chad.
Yeah, that was amazing. By the way, P.S. He writes, I hope you had a great Hanukkah and New Year and great work of 141. The Hedis, the Jimmy Hedis. When's the last time we heard that name? The Jimmy Hedis interview was one of my all-time favorites, and the Volkman spot was interesting. But why no Dana interview? Kidding. Why no Dana interview? Wow. You even went back to then?
No. I think it must have been some other circumstances, right? What was the reason then? I don't even know.
Do you remember who headlined 141?
I don't know.
It was.
This is your realm. This is your wheelhouse.
It was Brock and Overeem.
Oh yeah, what an event! Yeah, that was a fun one.
Anyways, the first episode of the new era was on January 17th, and this was the rundown. From 1 to 110, I spoke about the new era. From 110 to 130, I spoke to Marcelo Alonso, legendary Brazilian journalist. From 130 to 150, Ben Fowlkes. From 150 to 210, TJ Thompson, who was working for Pro Elite at the time. And from 210 to 230, Sean McCorkle. I mean, what a lineup. All-star.
Yeah. And I think the Ben Fowlkes was his return from a ban, right? Or
no, the ban came later.
The one where
the ban was when I
banned after. Okay.
He was banned, and the return was supposed to be the Monday, but then I became a father, and we had to delay the return. You made the video, I'm coming home. Yeah,
the Carmelo Knicks video was popular at that time.
Tremendous.
No, Rick, I know that
well,
you're
folks,
not here, but there's not a dry eye in this control room right now.
Yeah.
let me. We always love to hear that email, except everybody except for me. The one thing I'll say is know your worth, people. The only thing I would change in that one thing is don't offer to do anything for free for anybody.
1,000%.
You can talk about that later. But know your worth and understand what value you're bringing to the table. But I meant every single word. Was willing to do anything it took, and then did do anything it took. There was some early, manual labor stages.
I mean, you had to hold the plexiglass, right, on the subway.
Well, here's the thing: I didn't have to. I took it as I did it as like a check me out. I'm really wanting this. And then when I got back, they were like, I think it was Kyle at the time was like, why don't you just get a cab? But I just wanted to hustle. I just wanted to save the company and put $250 on that Metro card and get it done. But
by the way, what has GC ever carried?
On the subway?
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
He's carried this show at various points. So shout out to GC.
Yeah.
Got the world on his shoulders.
Frank talking about bringing in a very light bag of some sort of taffy today, and he's like, I can't believe how hard this is.
First of all, I think we should break the fourth wall. Yoon, who was previously on the team, brought us Christmas gifts. And dropped them off with me in Lower Manhattan last night. I had to drag them out to Brooklyn. Explain to my wife why I had a bag full of gifts that wasn't for her. Drag it back over to.
What are you talking about? Drag? It's like a Ziploc bag.
No,
it's like it weighs half a pound.
Yes, say that to my back, which is now sore.
Oh my god!
I'm carrying all of that.
I brought an entire air fryer on the subway.
You did.
A giant duffel bag one time, Frank.
Pretty sure I saw you sign for that from Amazon.
True.
So.
Also, you brought your Xbox, right? Didn't you bring your Xbox?
Xbox, GameCube, countless decorations. I mean, me and the subway.
Yeah, you're right. I take back. You know what? I take back what I said. That wasn't fair.
GC's put in the work, for sure.
That wasn't fair. Now, the Belgium jersey was one that you brought in that you probably shouldn't have. But By the way, what are you wearing today? Do you want to let the people know?
Yeah, I got the 10 on.
Yeah.
Mbappe, France, 2:00.
Slam Morocco.
I mean, for those that have been paying attention, before the World Cup, gave them out. Argentina to win, France to win, Denmark to win. That didn't go so well, but we got a chance at locking up guaranteed profit.
How many soccer jerseys do you own?
Quite a few.
I didn't realize you were such a big soccer fan. Or you just like the jerseys?
A little bit of both. I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I do like their jerseys. Got an Ajax jersey, Madrid. Yeah, there's a lot of cool ones.
I believe it's Ajax, for the record.
I will not be adjusting my pronunciation.
Ajax is like, I think that's a detergent.
Yeah, I'll stay with Ajax.
All right, fine. They're going to kill you for that one. Yesterday, I was in Midtown. I went to the Nike store. Holidays coming up. Got my middle son, Walter, an Mbappe jersey, France. Very excited about that. We did they had the jersey, but then they said, you want us to put a name on the back, and you could choose from several names. Not everyone is available, because I guess it's just the Nike athletes. It was at the Nike store, but I had to get him the Mbappe. And then I got my son a Foden England jersey, my older son. Very excited about that. So they're first jerseys with names on the back.
Foden.
Foden.
He's a big Phil Foden fan.
Foden's his favorite player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. nice with
Oh,
that.
there it
There
is.
we go.
There it is.
Yeah, I wish this was the World Cup one. I mean, you got lucky. The gold rooster is super sick, but yeah, we got the 10 on today.
All right, we'll see. Very happy for Messi, by the way. I think that's an amazing story. Did you see that clip that dude posted? Some guy was like filming the last goal. I think it was the last goal.
Unbelievable. The angle that he got
Yes.
there.
Oh my God. To see the way he moves his feet is unbelievable. Danny Breezy, Ariel, the fearless leader of the Nose World Order. New World Order. I wanted to ask you a question, less about MMA if I could, more about your career journey. You've been someone that has dealt with personal adversity, plenty of adversity throughout your career, and had many people trying to bring you down. Yeah. Yet you've stuck to your guns and doubled down on your love of the sport of MMA and covering it throughout all that. Can I just tell you guys one thing? I don't want to say, the amount of calls and texts that I've gotten from fighters, and some fighters that like you, I think would be surprised, has been really freaking awesome. Because again, it was like, oh, you don't really care about the fighters. You're just trying, and they're like, no, man, we know you care. We know you're the only one at times who speaks up on our behalf or that, has stuck your neck out. I do freaking care. And that really pissed me off. I mean, the whole thing pissed me off. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It did fucking piss me off. And that's why I spoke about it for an hour and 50 minutes. Okay? And then you're going to be like, oh, you're still talking about it? Yeah, I am going to still talking about it. All right? I know you want it to go away. Petty doesn't want it to go away. Well, I kind of do. But you get my point. I'm sitting in front of this damn microphone for all this time. I'm going to talk about it. What advice would you give a young professional who is questioning what their future career path may look like? And also, what advice would you give a young professional who deals with self-doubt or the doubts of those around you? Thanks a lot. Up the Parlay Pals and Viva Helwani. Well, I mean, I would try to figure out what you're passionate about, what gets you excited, to wake up and attack the day. What do you like? I liked MMA and I liked interviewing people and so I was like, man, why don't I try to make this into a career? Again, as I've said before, you only get one life. You only get one shot. And who knows when it's going to end? Freaking live out your days as best as possible, doing things that make you happy, doing things that put a smile on your face, doing things that get you excited, doing things that get you out of bed. So first things first, find that thing, find that reason, find that why, find that engine that will get you up and that will get you going, that will get you motivated. Find the place, find the people. I know this is a lot easier said than done. And I'm still finding these places and I'm still finding those reasons. And I'm still I'm not some sort of guru here, but feel freaking blessed that this is my job. My job today is to wake up, get in a car, work with these great people, do a show, talk to fighters in front of a microphone and go home. That's my job. I mean, how did I get so lucky? I don't know. Work hard, be professional, treat people the way you want to be treated. And self-doubt is a motherfucker. Like, self-doubt can ruin you. Don't let that happen. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't lick your wounds. And he asks about people doubting you, the ones around you. Like I said, don't let them decide. It's your life. You write the story because guess what? They don't truly care about your success or your failures. A lot of it is them projecting. A lot of them is them just being a-holes. Ultimately, it's you. Ultimately, when it's all said and done, it comes down to you. You're in your bed. You're by yourself. You're staring at the mirror. Do whatever makes you happy. Do whatever makes you feel fulfilled. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let everyone tell you can't do it. I talk to kids like, you want to be the GM of the Patriots? Go freaking be the GM. And maybe down the line, you'll end up being something else. But go after something. That's what I would say. Adriano, hi Ariel. I've been wondering over the past couple of days why media isn't covering the James Krause story as much as you. That's not true. My thoughts concluded that there are some media members who have close relationships with managers and fighters. Off the record information might be given to them, which they could then share with others to potentially place a bet on a fight. Could we see a scenario where even if you work in MMA media, that they will also not be allowed to place bets? I don't think media, like me, I don't feel comfortable betting on fights. I don't. I think it's totally different for someone like GC who doesn't talk to managers, fighters like I do. I don't feel comfortable doing it. And I don't think it's a good look because then you get too emotionally invested. I think you could talk about it, the lines, the this, the that, but it's not something. I mean, honestly, I don't really gamble to begin with. You all know this. I think the gambling aspect of sports, I think what it's done to sports media, for the most part, is very, very positive. I think it's an interesting story. It's an interesting gauge at who the public thinks, well, all that stuff. I have no problem with any of that, but I don't think I should be sitting here being like, man, my parlay got busted because freaking Jared Gordon didn't get the nod. I don't think you want to hear that, and I don't think that's appropriate, honestly. And I will say that I don't agree that we're covering it more than anyone else, or I'm covering it more than anyone else. I think we've done a great job and have tried, but there's plenty of people that have been covering this. I think Mark Ramundi and David Purdon. Is it David Purdon? GC, is it the name of the guy?
Purdum.
Purdum?
Yeah.
With an N, right?
With an M.
With an M.
David Payne Purdum.
Okay, yep. Aaron Bronstetter. There's a few that have been covering this for a while. MMA Fighting's been covering it. The whole site has been covering it. Junkie has covered it. So
the timeline that Rick and Connor put together, I thought, it kind of was like a one-stop shop.
Sure.
To get caught up on all
for
of
sure.
it.
But I don't think like we've,
right.
done it more. Obviously, you want to present different things, and I tried to do that on purpose so that if someone doesn't understand, even someone hitting me up like, "What's going on here? Watch this," right? But I think MMA media, and I don't think anyone's covering it or not covering it because they're scared. This isn't one of the. It's not. Everyone always likes to say like, "Oh, MMA media is scared." Well, in this case, what are they scared of? Of not getting a James Krause interview or not talking to some guy? Like, no, it doesn't. It's fine. That's not happening here. It's just this is a type of story that's developing that isn't this guy fighting this guy. It's the type of story that takes a little work, takes a little time. Not a lot of people want to talk on the record. I can assure you of that. You have to have patience. The whole thing isn't going to just like crack open overnight. Prior to the rule about UFC fight, yes, go ahead.
Can I just say two things?
Please.
One, correcting the record. I had no hand in that timeline. All GC. Shout out to the man.
That is
and then
true.
Two,
typical Frank, right? Trying to take credit away.
Yeah, I mean, he's just so out of it.
It's been a tough one.
Late, Frank.
Yeah, you're late on that. Damon Martin of our side of MMA Fighting had some additional reporting just this morning on.
Oh, I missed that. What is
James
it?
Krause and Derek Minner.
What is it?
So the Nevada Athletic Commission had a hearing, and
that was right before
the
we went on
suspensions
air, right?
of Krause and Minner were extended. So
what is the news?
People are
Just
talking about this.
Just that it was extended?
Yeah, that their suspensions are extended as the investigations continue. So
there you go.
Yeah,
so
this continues to be covered. This is not going away, and I don't think personally I don't see people shying from it. I see quite a bit of coverage.
Yeah, I agree. Prior to the rule, he continues about UFC fighters coming out. The only ones who couldn't place a bet on UFC events was the commentary team for the night. Yeah, because they work for the UFC. There's no rule. Look, I suppose if we had a more, if the MMAJ was more of a presence, and I can probably talk about that, but I still believe in it. I still feel very, very, very strongly in it. But maybe we could put that out there. But we don't work for the promotion, so technically there's no. I just think it's a bad look, and I just think it's something that journalists shouldn't do. Now, if you want to bet on the Yankees against the Red Sox, like, God bless, you could do that. But I don't think a baseball journalist should be betting on that. That's just my opinion. Prior to the rule about UFC fighters, okay, yep. To think about it, they also never gave predictions. Well, I mean, the analysts do. It's just not the guys calling the fight, which is fine. I can't remember if that's true or not, but found it odd that the commentary team are restricted, but coaches, managers were involved in the event. Yeah, well, because they work for the promotion and the other guys don't, right? They're actual employees and the others aren't. But yeah, I get your point. Trevor, what it is, Ariel, what it is. Congratulations on the 2 TKOs on back-to-back shows. 5 UFC champions have rolled over from the end of last year to the end of this year with 7 new champions going into next year. My question for you is, do you think there'll be 7 new champions at the end of 2023, or do you think champion status could be more concrete in 2023? Love the shows. Love the guys in the back. Oh, man. Well, heavyweight, light heavyweight is, very much in flux. Middleweight could change. Welterweight could definitely change. Lightweight could, but I think a lot of people don't think it will. Featherweight could, but a lot of people don't think it will. 35 could. 25 could. Female, 45 not going to be defended. 35 could, but who's out there? 25 could. Scary scene for Shevchenko back in June. 15 could. Yeah, so I think somewhere in the 5 to 7 range is acceptable. Abe, hello, Ariel. Thoughts, please, on the UFC's return to the O2 Arena. You know, with everything that happened last week with Patty and whatnot, I didn't really even talk about any of this. What a letdown, right? We went from thinking about Cardiff, we went from thinking about Wembley, Tottenham, Hotspur State, all that stuff, and now we're back at the O2 now again. I love the fact that it looks like Leon is going to defend his title at home. Thank you. That's what should happen. I love the fact that it's going to be a great scene and hopefully a great card. I love it. I love the fact that it's a pay-per-view for the UK and it's going to air at a normal time over there, afternoon here. I love everything about that, but why couldn't we go to a stadium? That's what we said. That's what we thought. That's what we were told. So a bit of a letdown, bit of a womp womp. And they've, so March 4th was a pay-per-view, and then there's one in early April. This one was turned from a fight night. It was supposed to just be the fight night, and they turned into a pay-per-view. So there's going to be like 3 in the span of almost a month, which will be interesting. Anyway, Dana was asked why they settled for the O2 when he boasted about a stadium for months. His response was, we didn't settle for the O2. The O2's our spot. He then gave a bunch of number one bullshit excuses and said his concern was Wembley, Cardiff is the UK weather in February or March, and much to my annoyance, no reporter had the balls to challenge or remind him Cardiff has a damn roof. Yeah, I mean, he just says this. You have to understand, Dana isn't involved in these conversations. He isn't the one calling. There's a guy named Pete Dropic that is involved in venues and whatnot. Hunter Campbell is involved in these conversations. Like, Dana isn't on these calls. He isn't on the front line. So he just gets like information here and he gets things stuck in his head. He probably doesn't even know where Principality Stadium is, with all due respect. Cardiff is also way closer to Birmingham than London. Yes, I remember when I drove from London to Cardiff for the WWE event in September, we drove through Birmingham. Fury and AJ have done fights at Tottenham in December and September too. Why is March? They may not, maybe they thought they weren't going to sell out. Maybe they just had a deal with O2. There could be 1,000 different questions. If I were you, I would be happy, but I know this means a lot less people are going to be able to go. That sucks. Letdown. Couldn't agree more. Newman, hello, Ariel. Hello, Newman. Congrats on number 13 and your latest 10-7. Rumors are swirling that Kamaru Usman might not be able to fight in London at 286 in March due to issues with his hands, and apparently Jorge Masvidal might replace Usman and get another title shot instead. While there's obviously the three-piece Minnesota backstory, I feel this would have to be the most undeserved title shot of all time. I would be very surprised. Jorge is coming off 3 straight dominant losses in the Octagon, 2 of which were for the belt, and has absolutely no momentum right now. I mean, I saw a video that Henry Hoof posted this morning, and it looks like Usman is totally fine. So let's chill. I think this came from an interview with Wonder Boy and a young reporter, but as of right now, I have not heard anything that would back that up. Plan as of right now, last I heard, was still Edwards Usman 3. Connor from Canada. Hey, Ariel, following the NBA's decision to change their awards to be named after legends of their sport, it got me thinking about what MMA could do for their sport. I know there is a UFC Hall of Fame, but I feel like it's generally pretty underpromoted. I agree. There are so many pioneers of the sport that did a lot to make the sport what it is today. They don't get the credit they deserve. What are some of your ideas to better honor the legends of MMA? P.S. Congrats on being MMA's best journalist for 13 years in a row. That is tremendous. A tremendous accomplishment and a testament to your hard work. Very well deserving. Thank you, Connor from Canada. I mean, there's little things that I've mentioned in the past. Like, I wish that legends would be honored at events. Every international fight week, you have something in the cage for them when it's the 30th anniversary coming out. Why can't they name the 30 greatest fighters in UFC history? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be a fun ceremony, a fun thing like the NBA did last All-Star Game, 75 years? Why can't they do that? Oh, I know why. Because there's a lot of conflicts with a lot of those guys. I would love to see that. The UFC is not the NBA. You have to understand that. But so there's no MVP of, of the UFC's year and all that. And then maybe they could do their own awards, but I think they just leave that up to the World MMA Awards. But doing a better job of reminding people of who did what, where the sport came from, they had. So the MSG pay-per-view was on the 29th birthday of the UFC. During that pay-per-view, how many reminders, how many special, it was on the actual day, November 12th. It was on the day. And it was just kind of largely forgotten. Why? I know the first day in NBA history. It was the Basketball Association of America. It was the New York Knicks at the Toronto Huskies on November 1st, 1946. Ozzie Shetman scored the first point in Basketball Association of America history, which then became the NBA. You know why I know that? Because the NBA talks about its history, promotes its history, honors its history. When he was alive, God rest his soul, Bill Russell was sitting courtside. He was handing over the MVP trophy of the finals. You always see the legends at the games. You always see them celebrated at All-Star Weekend, all that stuff. Why don't we do this in our sport? It's the fight game, and it's, it's just filled with conflict and controversy and all this stuff. But man, they want to act like a real sports league. I wish they would. They want to be treated like one. I wish they would. So let's start with the 30th anniversary. I am challenging the UFC for their 30th anniversary show, November of 2023. Name your 30 greatest UFC fighters. As voted on by the fans, as voted on by committee. Wouldn't that be freaking great? And for one night, all grudges put aside, and Royce Gracie is brought back, and Randy Couture is brought back, and Frank Shamrock is brought back, and Ken Shamrock is brought back. If they make the cut, I'm thinking off the top of my head, there's been a lot of fighters since then, but wouldn't that be special? The 30th anniversary of this freaking amazing organization that has defied the odds and has become a juggernaut and has become a mainstream entity, a mainstream sport. Let's honor the past. Let's remind the people. The new fans need to know who these people are. That would be so great. That would be so great. Could you imagine like a ceremony and they're all brought and they all come down the aisle? Something just to make it special. It's not always about today's event. The past is important too. Maddie Matt. Bonjour, wartime CEO Ariel Helwani. I do not have any money to pay you for this interview. That was another one that I got a lot of like, hey man, just want to let you know from now on, you got to pay me. Amazing. But in light of the 282 post-fight presser news, I mean, what a blunder, right? Like, could you imagine one fight in and you're asking for payment after all those? And then that comment, like, the best comment was, I guess I was always just dollar signs for him. Bro, in 2016, when no one outside of the UK was talking about you, where were the dollar signs? I should have been charging for the spots on this show. And then GC found this thing, again, the contradictions. You found this, what was it, like a post from when he visited the studio in 2018? And what did he say in the post? That like, oh, Ariel Helwani's a legend, he's going to be remembered like the fighters are. And then fast forward 4 years, I'm a nobody and I only care about fighters. It's just tremendous.
Yeah, it was like on Facebook or something. He says, how much of a legend you are, #legend. Yeah.
Now I'm a rodent and a maggot. And he doesn't give a fuck. Is the UFC in a breach of contract by canceling Anthony Smith's fight against Jamal Hill? I don't know if there was a bout agreement. We'll talk to Anthony about it in about 50 minutes. Does Lionheart have any legal recourse to the slimy move by the UFC? I mean, he works for them. He's a broadcaster. He's not going to do that. That wouldn't be very smart on his part. It's crappy, but he's going to take the high road for sure. Will they pay him his show money? I'll ask him. Win money? I'll ask him. Potential fight of the... No, they will not. Why are you asking questions you know the answer to? Potentially, that is what the UFC took from him. And will this fight cancellation at least knock one fight off his contract? No. Gracias. Much love from North Carolina. Also, my wife's pregnant with her first child. Just thought I'd announce it to the world through the greatest content creators MMA show. Can I get a mazel tov? Yes, you could get a mazel tov, and I wish the best your wife and your, did you say what the sex was? No, your child, and I hope everything goes smoothly, and everyone's healthy, and it's all good. Good luck. This is a great time. Happy Hanukkah, Ariel. Yes, happy Hanukkah to everyone out there celebrating this Sunday, first night. Very exciting time. Maddie Matt says, P.S., since you claim to be a Sandler movie expert, why haven't you made the comparison of Cassius, Little Nicky's brother, to Patty Pimblett. He called him something else, or however Schaub would mispronounce it. Can I be honest? Never really liked Little Nicky. Not one of my favorites.
Definitely not.
You know, there's Billy Madison, there's Happy Gilmore, there's Big Daddy.
Wedding Singer,
which I would actually put higher up on the list. Waterboy, 8 Crazy
Mr.
Nights.
Deeds.
Punch Drunk Love.
No?
Punch Drunk Love was so good. Wow, what a pull, Frank. This is your best contribution to the show, an hour and 12 minutes
Great.
in. Punch Drunk Love was
Mr. Deeds.
really?
I love Mr. Deeds.
It was fine.
Mr. Deeds.
But it's not
Mr.
in that
Deeds.
it's not in that top 5,
He's in
right?
the Pantheon, bro.
Nah, maybe not top 5. Sandler's got so
it's
many
flirting.
good
Proof.
Ugh. They got a little,
right. Nah, see,
there's some
that's
oh,
not
you
the
know,
right.
you know what's a great one that made me cry like a baby? Click.
Oh my gosh, dude! I knew you were gonna say that.
Love Click.
That is about as close as you can get to crying during a comedy movie. When he's in the rain and he falls and his kids are leaving him.
I'm gonna cry right now. Oh my god, he gets older.
They hit it hard there.
Yeah, Click was fantastic. What else? You know, he's on this tour now, and Nate Diaz got to meet him. I was in Vegas on the same night. I would love to see his concert.
51st Dates.
51st Dates,
Great
fantastic. Oh, what a legend. What a legend. And then you see these videos of him playing basketball and stuff. Doesn't he just seem like the coolest guy on the planet? God, I love Sandler. He's just the coolest.
Yeah.
Shout out to the original CDs from Adam Sandler.
Oh, those were the best.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you have some cantaloupe and come on? You know that skit?
Yeah.
And come play with your
they're all
cock
gonna
and
laugh at
balls.
you.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
Which is a reference to Carrie, actually.
Is it?
The horror movie Carrie, because the mom's like, they're all gonna laugh at you.
And also this recent one, the basketball one, the scout one.
Yes.
What is that one called? Jesus, it's like the last movie I've seen and the only one in the last 5 years. You know what I'm talking about? The one on Netflix.
You made me watch it. Yeah.
You didn't think it was good?
I thought the beginning was all right. And then it kind of.
Wow.
Is it the prison one? No, that's
no. Trey Young's in it. Like he literally recruits a basketball player.
Hustle. It's called Hustle.
There it is. Good ball, Rick.
Yeah. Or a good Google search.
Yeah, it was the Google. I just
Hotel-
listened to a podcast, him talking about it, and I still forgot.
Can I tell you guys? First of all, Hotel Transylvania is a favorite for the kids. This, I'm actually embarrassed to admit this, but this just is very on brand for me as of late. I think you guys are going to kill me for this. You're going to roast me for this. I have not seen Uncut Gems.
This is unacceptable.
Because people say, I mean, the best things about it, right?
Yes, but I will say this. If you're not somebody who likes tension, if you want a casual movie experience, this is not that movie. This is a you're gripping the sides of the chair from start to finish type movie. And I know there's some people who can't handle that. If you cannot handle that, then don't see it.
But isn't it kind of like a different side of him?
Oh yeah, it's like not a comedy at all. Rick is
it's
right.
a serious actor.
I saw it like a little bit hungover on New Year's Day, and I think it was like an 11 a.m. showing. It was a lot to handle in the morning.
Wow. Have you guys seen Sandy Wexler? That's another one that I don't think gets talked about a lot, but I've heard is good. I have not seen that one. I mean, he's had a lot of freaking movies, after the blow up in the night. You guys ever see that one or no?
No.
I have not.
Never saw Grown Ups.
Opera Man is probably his best character. They should make a movie.
That's not a
on
movie.
that.
Don't Mess with the Zohan. I enjoyed that. Did you guys see that? You didn't like that?
No.
I liked it. He's got bangers. We know this. Sandman's
we all
the
have
man.
opinions, but
Fuck, 50. You know what? Punch Drunk Love. I need to watch that again. That was Anger Management was not bad.
all right.
No.
Oh, I actually really liked Anger Management.
Deuce Bigelow. I guess he was just just seeing if I'm missing anything here.
Bulletproof though. That was witty.
Airheads, Coneheads.
Coneheads was a good one. Or no, Airheads was the.
Wow, he was on the Cosby Show. 4 episodes. Man, I would love to meet Adam Sandler. Yeah. I would love to meet Adam Sandler. All right. Graham. Not that Graham. Hi, Ariel. G from Glasgow here. My question is on Darren Till, and I'm not looking for any payment. Don't worry. I love it. By the way, can I just say something right now? I feel like the payment thing is going to become like the what chant in pro wrestling with Stone Cold, where everyone else is going to get annoyed except for one person, me, sort of like Stone Cold doesn't get annoyed about it, but everyone else hates it because I see people saying it to other journalists and I see them getting upset, but I secretly kind of love it. It's just so great. I hope this never dies. I hope it lives on forever. Like on Monday, the comments on my Instagram were like, oh, looks like a great lineup. How much did it cost? Looks like an expensive. Oh, it's just great. It's so fucking great. I hope that is one that never dies. It seems he's not going to reach the elite of the UFC, which is a real shame. Who knows? There was a rumor that was the last fight on his deal. If so, any talk of a 85 division in PFL, it could be perfect. I have not heard that that's the last, so I can't speak on it. But yeah, I mean, PFL would be interesting. Let's just see if he's healthy. Let's see if the knee's okay. Let's see if he's able to get back on track. David Velasquez. Hi, Ariel. First off, congrats on 13. Always remember, the GOAT of MMA journalism has a name, and his name is Helwani. Now to the questions. I have two. As I was digesting the Doug Crosby situation since the beginning, another one since we talked about it on Monday, where people have come out of the woodwork, golly, telling me stories. I mean, just filled with conflict, filled with issues. It immediately reminded me of CJ Ross, who received immediate backlash after scoring a draw in the Mayweather-Canelo fight a decade ago. She resigned shortly thereafter. What will most likely happen? Doug Crosby resigning or gets his judging license revoked? 1,000% the latter. And things are moving. I can't talk about everything because I was told things off the record, but this one's different. This one feels different. And I believe the right people are listening. Now, I will say, I got this, I posted this yesterday. I got this quote from Mike Mazzulli, who's the president of the ABC and also the head of the Mohegan Tribe Commission, which is where Sabatello's thoughts happen. In case you missed it, this was the statement. And obviously, I like that they put out a statement. There's a few things I don't like about it, which I said in the conversation to him. In the last Bellator event, there was a controversy in the Sabatello's thoughts fight. After reviewing the fight, 3 rounds of the 5 rounds were extremely, in all bold, close. And the other 2 were marginally close rounds. Now, first of all, I get it. I wouldn't necessarily start that because it seems like you're almost trying to justify it. But fine. Mohegan Athletic Department Director of Athletics, Michael Mazzulli, expanded. One judge had Sabatello winning all 5 rounds. I would love to name that judge. Why are we beating around the bush? Name him, which is controversial. Thank you. But ultimately, this is a problem for me. Stotts won the decision, which is the correct result. No, that just means that the other 2 got it right. You can't say one was egregiously, historically bad, 50-45 in the direction of the loser, but it's all good because the other 2 got it right. No, hold up. You need to throw a flag, do this, do that, smoke signal. No, that's a problem. Ultimately, Stotts won the decision, was the correct result. In an effort to make this a learning moment, I've informed all 3 judges who will be reviewing the fight together. Love that. Great. Need more of that. This is a very serious situation. Love that, he said. The Mohegan Tribe Athletic Department always looks out for the best interests of all fighters. Great. In the past, the Mohegan Tribe Athletic Department has sanctioned officials that are not performing to the level that is required. Great. Don't love this. Such sanctions, when they occur, are not made public. Why? Let them, let the world know. No different than someone testing positive for steroids and you keeping it under wraps. Let the world know. That's how we know that you're truly in favor of cleaning up the sport, making it better, getting the dinosaurs out, holding people accountable. How do you hold people accountable if you don't make it public? You got to make it public. The fights are public. The sanctions need to be public. I'm sorry. Don't love that. So if the Mohegan Tribe and if the ABC decide enough is enough, make that public. Let the world know. Don't let any person who is not working in the sport ethically, who is breaking rules, who's doing whatever, don't let them get off. Why would you? It only reflects positively on Mohegan if they come out and say, you know what? Enough is enough. We're not going to license this guy. And where's Nevada in all of this? Where's Nevada in the scorecard talk where everyone, including John McCarthy himself, whose son was one of the people who scored a 29-28 in favor of Patty, where are they on reviewing? Where are they on allowing a judge to go from Connecticut to Vegas in a 24-hour period after that egregious scorecard. We've seen Dana White pull a judge. We've seen Dana White freak out and pull a judge mid-event. Sabatello's thoughts get 50 to 45, and we allow this guy to fly over and score and judge a co-main? How did we let that happen? We've seen this happen mid-event. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. So I'd say the latter probably, and I think things are happening, and let's see if they are able, all these dudes are friends. All these dudes are friends. That's part of the problem too. Let's see if they truly care about the sport and do the right thing. Number 2, what are your thoughts on the reports of a possible Vince McMahon comeback? You were the one that brought that to our attention, and you ended up saying that it was...
What it really was, I saw it on Reddit, and then when I wanted to send you the link, it was behind a paywall from WSG.
Yeah, I don't think that's
WSJ.
Happening. I don't think that's happening. But, I haven't been paying too close attention, but I would say that would not be good for the brand. They're in a much better spot. It's time to move on. I mean, there's like no one asking for this. It feels like it's all positive. Why? That would be very deflating. By the way, another thing about Doug Crosby that people should know, he works as a stunt guy in movies, and he dangles this in front of fighters. And sometimes he comes through, but oftentimes it's just like an empty promise, like, oh, I'm going to help you out, I'm going to get you in movies and all this stuff. And it's like, what is going on? You're a judge. You shouldn't
Conflict.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. What the hell are we talking about here? You're telling fighters, oh, come, I'm going to teach you about movies, this and that. Like, you should have no relationship. You should actually have zero relationship with fighters. It should be as pristine as possible. But the sport, even though it's 30 years old, is still filled with all kinds of conflict. Hugo knows, hot take for 2023, have moderator Lewis to keep this on the record. We saw the rise of African champs in the UFC. 2023 will be the rise of Latin American champions. Moreno, Chito Vera, Yair Rodriguez, Aldana, and Grasso will be champs. Viva la raza. Hugo, that's a big time prediction. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 champions, all hailing from Latin America. Let's see. Should I squeeze in one more? Hey, Ariel and crew, Vince McMahon was famous for saying monsters don't talk. Could this work in MMA? Rosenstrike does what he did in the 20 seconds to Dawkins, and then someone else takes the mic to cut a Helwani type promo, or am I crazy to think that Mysterious Frank, if he dialed up his persona, could be, wow. Listen to this statement. Am I crazy to think that Mysterious Frank, if he dialed up his persona, could be a great Bobby the Brain Heenan type manager for some beast at heavyweight? Thoughts? Whoa. This gentleman, Daryl, who says he loves the show, is suggesting that our own Mysterious Frank could be a mouthpiece for some of the hardest hitters, behemoths, monsters, as he says, in the sport. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I mean,
all of a sudden, go ahead, Frank.
I don't know who Bobby the Brain is.
Oh my God, that is so deflating.
But he sounds great, and
only
could
the
be a
greatest manager, arguably in the history of pro wrestling, and certainly one of the greatest on the mic.
What promotion?
Pro wrestling, WWE and WCW.
Okay.
He went to WCW.
So originally WCW.
No, originally WWE. The problem is, what would you wear? You'd have to wear like some sort of mask, luchador mask.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
But what is
all
this?
Of a sudden,
dial up the persona. Like this is me. I don't understand.
I mean, I don't know. He seems to. So I have 3 more questions. Do I finish the questions or do we do the picks? Should I just finish
I think
them?
it makes sense to finish them.
All right. Christian, yo, Ariel. I know it's best practice to wait till the end of the year to give out awards, but as a tease for the coveted MMA Hour Awards, I thought I'd throw some different categories your way, and we would love an impromptu answer from you and the crew. I provided nominees, but feel free to go off script if you've got something better. All right, here we go. Number 1, the New York Ric Award for Worst Take of the Year. And he even provides nominees. All right, guys, we're going to weigh in on this, all right? 1, Ally Quinta on open scoring. B, DC's top 5 combat sports athletes of all time. I'm trying to do do you ever see Home Alone where he goes 1, 2D? Buzz. 1, we live in the safest street in America. 2, No, I was trying to do that. C, Josh Thompson on the MMA media. Thanks for explaining to us how media works, Josh. D, Ariel Helwani's Izzy versus Pereira was stopped early. Wow, I'm catching strays too. I'll go first. Quinton open scoring.
It would make sense that this person who has no clue what they're talking about or doing would list these four like not even making sense ones, especially because the first one, Al's take on open scoring is unequivocally correct. So it should be the winner of this award.
No, it's worst take. Yeah, this is worst take, not best take.
I get it. Yeah, but again, it's named after me. So this is like the continuation of this disinformation. This disinformation campaign. No, I'm not triggered by Ariel's terrible take about Izzy and Alex. Believe me, I'm not triggered by that one.
That one is aging well over time, just for the record.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Darren Till takes 500 shots and is still standing.
Which one of my takes was in here?
Interesting. None. I'm going to go with DC's top 5. Close second, Thompson's take on MMA media, but I'll go with DC's top 5. GC?
Yeah,
Quinta, DC, 5. Thompson, me.
Thompson.
Frank?
I did like the whole Thompson thing.
Yeah, that was good.
This is trash. These are the worst options. Get this guy out of here. Who is this person?
Number 2. Yes.
None of Rick's takes were even in there.
Amazing.
No, my first.
Okay, all right. I thought these were
it's just named after you.
Oh, okay.
It's named after me
France
because
was scoring, taking the lead. I got a little distracted.
What happened? 1-0? 1-0?
1-0.
Who? Olivier Giroud? Antoine Griezmann?
Theo Hernandez.
Oh, okay. The Doug Crosby Award for Worst Scorecard. A, Doug Crosby's 29-28, Pimblett Gordon. Chris Lee's 29-28, Pimblett Gordon. Ron McCarthy's 29-28, Pimblett Gordon. Or D, Doug Crosby's 50-45 for Stott Sabatel.
It's not all of the above.
Yeah. I'll go with D. How about this one? The Patty Pimblett, quote, "This wasn't supposed to go like this" award for greatest lapse in judgment. Dylan Dennis rolling up to the KSI press conference only to get clocked by Anthony Taylor. UFC for trying to feed Nathan Diaz to the wolf only for everything to backfire at the last minute. James Krause. It's a tough one. I'm going to go with
What's this guy's name again?
Christian. You don't like these?
Do we have an award for the Christian award for doing the same joke 4 times in the same question?
I mean,
but
that's what it's supposed to be. I think it's pretty good. I mean, here's the last one. B was
Rick has rolled his eyes. If we should have said an over
permanently rolled.
Okay, you might like this one, Rick. Number 4, the Connor Burks Award for biggest babyface. Wonderboy Thompson, Arnold Allen, Leon Edwards, Zhang Wei Li.
You know what? I do like that one. I do like that one.
That's an all of the above one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to pick from those.
The Zhang getting so good at English was like, that was shocking.
By the way, did Zhang not speak English that fight week at the press?
I don't think so. I didn't really hear it. No.
Saved it for us. I'll go with Leon. Hello, Ariel. This is from Chris. First time here. 3 quick ones, if I may. Anything ever happened with Ali shouting direction in the neutral area at Kayla's fight, or has that just gone away? I think so. I'll be honest. Didn't really. I try to like, I just, in an effort to live a long and happy and healthy life. I'll talk about it here, but I ain't doing no investigating. I'll tell you that from now. Like, no interest in that dude being on my mind, in my life, thought process, investigate. I'll leave that for other people. Have fun. 2, have you ever got to do a sit down with Brock, or is your relationship similar to that of Ronda's? Yeah, back in the day, I did a sit down with him, 2010 or so. It's up there. Type in my name and his on YouTube. We did a couple stand-ups. He walked off one time. But yeah, I've talked to him maybe 3 or 4 times. 3 for the boys. Favorite all-time video game? What do you guys say? I mean, there's a few that come to mind. FIFA, Madden, NBA Live back in the day. Mario Kart's pretty good. GoldenEye.
I'm a Metal Gear Solid. That's my series.
Good on you, Rick. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid for sure.
Man, Super Smash Bros. Is incredible. Zelda, both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Any of the Marios.
It's a whole
Mario
list
3.
here.
Yeah, I mean, I really love Super Mario Sunshine. I feel like that doesn't get as much love. Maddens are great. Red Dead Redemptions are great. Grand Theft Auto.
I'm going to say this just once.
Wow.
Chrono Trigger.
Wow, never heard of
Not
any of these.
Metroid.
I mean, look, that's like my favorite franchise, but this guy's asking favorite video game. Just going to say it one more time, even though I said I'm only going to say it once. Chrono Trigger.
Frank is currently playing through every Metroid game.
I don't even know.
These are facts. You know Metroid. Come on.
Samus.
Started in 1982. Samus, is it her?
Didn't Frank blow you off to play Metroid? Wasn't that the
It
story?
was understandable, though. That's why he brought it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you really blow him off to play a video game?
There was a mixture of that and finances.
He said no. He was like, no, I can't come out. And then 3-4 hours later, Instagram story, he spent hours eating Metroid.
That's how you found out?
Yep. Yeah, it was hard.
Wow.
I mean, was I supposed to just, I can't make it now, I'm just going to sit in stasis for the rest of the night?
You could have played it, but you didn't have to rub it in my face by posting it on your Instagram story.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
That's a blunder. Do you agree?
That would be the mysterious Frank Award of regret.
Blunders, yeah. Last one from Rami. Happy holidays. Wondering what your favorite tradition is to do with your family that you did as a kid. Much love. Well, I mean, I love lighting the menorah with them and doing all of that. We weren't actually a big family. Like, we didn't do the gifts on Hanukkah thing, but I've introduced that a little bit. Not 8 days. That's a lot. Go away on Christmas break. I love doing Seder's, Passover, if that means anything to you. I do that. Shabbat dinner. I love Shabbat dinner. Challah, the wine, candles. That's a big one for me. Best holiday movie.
Christmas Vacation.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut. That's a Christmas movie?
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here.
It really is.
I don't want to start the
who's gonna
debate,
say Die
but it's
Hard?
Die Hard. It's Die Hard.
See, that's the thing. If people are going to say Die Hard, then Eyes Wide Shut is also a Christmas
Die Hard, unfortunately for you guys.
Wow. People love this one.
It's Die Hard.
This is
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yeah, this is up there with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
It's a Christmas movie.
Home Alone. Isn't that
That's-
Home Alone
I mean,
or
that's
Home
up
Alone
there.
2? Which one?
both? But if I had to pick one, I'd pick the first. But both are amazing.
I think I like 2 better.
That's fine.
I think I would do too. The New York scene.
The New York scene is cool, but the original to me was amazing. But okay, fine.
Yeah.
Better than all of those. You guys ever see 8 Crazy
Christmas
Nights?
Vacation. I have seen 8 Crazy Nights. I love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great. That's a technical foul.
I mean, God, I'm so disappointed in the
Yo.
MMA fighting slack. Not showing love to
Oh, they-
Sandler. Sandler's got hit after hit after
Really?
hit after hit. Yeah,
It's in-
like people saying only I like 3 movies, 4 movies, 2 movies. Come on,
You just
man.
can't pay attention. to that,
Everything.
Come on, Rick.
Everything.
A newer one that I love, Netflix, Klaus. Fantastic.
Oh, with a K?
Yeah, it is.
I think I saw a commercial for that or like a trailer for it, but
I really, really like it. It's very good.
Klaus. Is it a horror movie?
No.
Oh, Jed
Oh, wait.
Mishu has.
Wait a second. Is Klaus I think I may have just seen that. Is that a cartoon where the kid gets sent off by his dad?
Yes.
Post office? Oh, we just
Postman.
watched that. That was actually
you
really
watched the
good.
entire thing? Oh, I
With my
loved it.
kids.
I loved it. I watched it for the first time last year. I will definitely be watching it again. Jed Mishu says Elf, also a great
Elf
choice.
is very
Bad
good.
Santa.
Bad Santa's tremendous.
Jingle All the Way.
Bad Santa.
Which one's that
I
again?
have Phil Hartman, which we were talking about at
yeah,
lunch.
maybe.
Yeah, Jingle All the
That's,
Way. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
Arnold
man.
and Sinbad are competing over
But
the
Phil Hartman
toy.
took that
Fantastic
show,
one.
that whole movie away. Come on.
A new one that just came out, Spirited, Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell. Fantastic.
Oh, I saw a commercial for that. That's
I
good.
liked it. Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Joe says Love Actually.
Love Actually is a Christmas movie?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you ever seen
The
that?
best part about
Absolutely
all
not.
this is no one's mentioned Christmas Story.
No one's mentioned The Grinch.
That's so.
The Grinch is a great
Grinch
one.
is great.
The Grinch is a great one. Now, are we talking about the classic cartoon or are we talking about Jim Carrey's
The
Grinch?
Jim Carrey one.
Oh,
Really?
The only one
Jim
that
Carrey.
matters.
Oh, I like the classic cartoon. It's so like, Wahoo Doris, Wahoo Doris. I love that one. Makes me all fuzzy inside. Rudolph is great. The abominable
Charlie Brown?
Charlie Brown's tremendous.
Charlie Brown's a classic.
You mean Frosty the Snowman?
No. The Abominable Snowman. Isn't that a movie too? Like with the big monster? Or is that in Grinch? No, that's in Rudolph. He's a character. Yeah.
I would love to go.
You know, like
the Abominable Snowman.
You know, like the 1950s version of Rudolph, and the guy's
fantastic.
like,
the stop motion.
Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, I love
By the way, Frank, I'm sure they do have like a B horror movie. I'm
sure.
Abominable Snowman.
They've got it.
Wasn't there like Jack Frost or something? It was like a scary.
Yeah.
There's a new one that just came out with the guy from Stranger Things. I think it's called like Violent Night or something. And like,
oh yeah,
Santa's like a murderous character.
Have you guys ever seen? This is a very underrated film. Is it called New Year's Eve? Where it's like a million celebrities.
Oh God, yeah. And then they did Valentine's Day, and it's just like
Oh, we were voting on worst movie ever.
Like,
I forgot.
the most unbelievable.
No,
cast
I like it. It's an incredible cast. It's like all these A-listers.
The American Love Actually.
Oh my God, it's so good. Wait, Love Actually?
That era of movies where they just combined 100 celebrities was terrible.
And like someone's down on their luck, and their car breaks down, and then they meet the guy who fixes their car, and then they it's so good.
It's just like Valentine's Day. They literally the poster for the movie is literally just a list of everyone in it: Halle Berry, Jessica Biel, John Bon Jovi, Robert De Niro, Zac Efron, Ashton Kutcher, Seth Meyers. Like, it's unbelievable. Michelle Pfeiffer, Sarah Jessica Parker, Hilary Swank.
How could it be so bad?
Sofia Vergara. Because there's no storyline. They spent all the money.
That's not how you tell a story.
Celebrities.
I know, but Jesus, just to see all those people together is great.
They saw Crash, and then they were like, all right, let's do a really bad version of this. Let's just combine everybody.
The poster also says, from the director of Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
There you go. By the way, what's the greatest holiday TV show? Meaning like the one episode, like the holiday special?
Oh, very special.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the most iconic ones, first ever episode of The Simpsons, right?
Right.
Where they get Santa's little helper.
That was a great one.
Charlie Brown has to be up there.
Charlie Brown,
iconic.
Yeah. But that, like, I'm thinking of like the Fresh Prince Christmas episode, or you know what I mean? Like, that's a special as opposed to the holiday themed episode. You know what I mean? Family Matters,
the Star Wars holiday episode.
Yeah, none of the individual ones are coming to mind, but all of them were great. I always looked forward to the very special episodes.
Festivus, Seinfeld,
that's a good one.
It's tremendous.
That is a good one.
One of the few episodes I've seen of Seinfeld.
That's crazy to me.
The Office has a whole bunch of good ones.
Yeah, The Office.
Bob's
That's right.
Burgers.
Yeah, never seen Bob's Burgers.
Oh man,
Modern Family's got a lot of good Christmas episodes.
That's your favorite, right?
Oh, love it.
All right, we can talk about this forever.